Will Jack Smith's report become public? And if it does, will it make a difference? And is Amy Coney Barrett going to start siding with the liberals on the Supreme Court? And will U.S. democracy survive? Let's look into that. Welcome to Scrying Out Loud. My name is Trevor. So, uh, Garland has gotten approval to release the Jack Smith report. There was a 3-day moratorium. I suppose there's only 2 days now. It'll probably get appealed. And the question is, will it come out, or will Trump find some court that will be friendly enough to keep it from coming out? My sense is it'll come out, but I don't think it'll matter very much. So let's look into that to start with. So, will Jack Smith's report be released? Let's give these a couple of times. So I could see Jack Smith plotting, and this is part of the reason why he resigned. Jack Smith. Um, Not exactly sure what Trump is afraid of it coming out. I don't know that it'll contain any bombshells, but we might need to ask that too. So we get the Ten of Swords. Maybe it will. It's complete and utter downfall. If it does come out, perhaps. Um, the challenge is the government or the courts, right? So this is very good confirmation that we're reading on the right thing. So the courts are the challenge to it coming out. We have steady leadership with the King of Swords. Um, we get the Wearier Warrior, but this is in the past, and I think that is Jack Smith. In the past, we get chaotic movement, so it's kind of like it almost feels like it'll be released, and then all of a sudden it won't, and then it will, and then it won't, and then it will. Um, just kind of have to see how that plays out. There's going to be a lot of battle about it. The Five of Wands. There's lots of anxiety about the report coming out on both sides. Both sides are very anxious. They want it out. The other side doesn't. We get the Three of Pentacles, partnerships with money. This makes me worried about the courts a little bit. And then defending oneself is a hope and a fear, or in the hopes and fears. And the outcome card is the King of Cups. This is the card for the Democrats. Um, there are things in it that we don't know yet. And then there's celebrations and a fiery message. So I think it will come out. Yeah, we get victory at the bottom, but they're going to sneak around and try to do something. The Seven of Swords. And then we get apathy and strength. And that's my card for Trump. Pausing and suspension underneath. So it might take a while, but I think eventually it'll come out. We'll just have to kind of see how that plays out. So the question is is there anything in the report that would change public opinion? Let's ask that question. Is there anything in the Jack Smith's report that will change public opinion? Is there anything in Jack Smith's report that'll change? I don't think so. I just kind of get the image of the electoral map, and it's like red and blue, and it's not really much changing. Yeah. So anything in the report that'll change public opinion. Maybe a few. I just got an image of Lisa Murkowski and Susan Collins. They voted to convict Trump, and they're still in the Senate. So perhaps. So we get stability at the foundation. We get a spy in the camp. It also makes me wonder if parts of the report won't be leaked, or if people inside the Trump orbit won't start talking about it before it's out. Uh, they're hard at work to suppress it. Uh, some people are going to walk away from things that no longer serve themselves. I've always said that I thought Trump's influence would start to wane. Perhaps that's the start of it, and that's in the past. And I think we've seen some of that already with the House not voting the way that Trump wanted them to vote. A little bit of rejection of Mike Johnson, although eventually he got the speakership. Um, they're definitely going to try to get away with things. And the truth is, they might have already gotten away with things. With the Five of Cups get or Five of Wands again in the near term outcomes, this fighting battle, doing battle, be a lot of arguing about it. We get a fiery message with the Page of Wands. We get new partnerships with the Two of Cups. It's interesting. Will Murkowski and Collins and Cassidy, the people that voted guilty, will they start to partner with the Democrats to make sure this thing comes out? We get juggling foreign money and the hopes and fears. It's definitely a fear that there'll be foreign influence. And then we get a fiery message coming forward. So it might be received by a small few people, the Lover's card, and then the King of Swords, steady leadership. It might be received by a few people in an enlightening way of like, oh wow, he really is as bad as people have been saying. We get temperance underneath, the wanting for moderation. We get steady leadership. We get mis and disinformation with the devil card. And then we get the tower card. So fiery things happening, sudden explosions, changes of opinion, perhaps. And it might be because about the giving and receiving of money. I've always wondered exactly how they pulled off the January 6th attack. Um, it just seems like there was some organization to it that we don't know about. So anyhow, um, so Amy Coney Barrett sided with the liberals on whether Trump could be prosecuted, and Trump's now a convicted felon. As did John Roberts and the three liberals. Now, I got a pool when I was doing my 2025 predictions that Amy Coney Barrett was going to surprise us and start siding with the liberals quite a bit. And it might just be out of, the need to prevent crazy things from happening because the conservatives have just gone way off the right. So we'll read on Amy Coney Barrett, and then we'll finish by reading on the state of U.S. democracy in the future. So, will Amy Coney Barrett start siding with the liberals? I can see her meeting with Kagan and Sotomayor, like they're just casually having a cup of coffee. That could mean a lot of different things. I do think she has the future in her mind. Don't think it's when she first started, I think she's still getting her footing, but we'll see. I mean, it might be wishful thinking. So ill health, the Four of Swords. It's interesting. Hard at work to lay a foundation, to lay a legacy is the challenge. We get the death card underneath. Makes me wonder if Trump isn't in the picture, if things really change for her. We get the full card. It's in the past. It's like she already has this new epiphany of who Trump is and what the MAGA movement's about, and that they so we get the full card in the past. So, maybe she started thinking about things differently when certain things came out. We get Trump in the sky. So I think Trump is the big influence for her. Um, we get the juggling of foreign money in the near term future. Uh, we get lost. I feel like this is not like a physical loss, but like a loss of realizing that she'd lost her moral center. Um, Not that she was ever super liberal, but that her moral center needed to broaden because she's now in the court and her moral center needs to be aligned with that of the country, and it currently wasn't. And then we get uh, fiery messages with the Queen of Wands and fire leadership, independence as well. Um, she has everything she possibly needs in life. So really, it's just about how she'll be remembered in history, I think is how she's viewing this thing. And then in the end, we get the truth. So, and we get fiery messages. I think she's going to start to push back against MAGA and break this idea of the Eight of Swords of feeling confined. I think she feels a little confined now, but I think that'll go with time. And we get the end of a cycle underneath the voters and the new start. So I think she'll find her way and probably start siding with the liberals a little bit more. It might take a couple years for it to fully take effect, but that's the feeling I get is that she realizes that the current court isn't sustainable and she doesn't want to be a part of that legacy. Okay, the last question I want to ask is, will US democracy survive? Excuse me. Will US democracy survive the next um, 4 years of Trump? But not only that, will just US democracy survive and be thriving in the future? So, will US democracy be thriving in the future? US democracy be thriving in the future? So, I think things are going to change. I think the US is going to go through a lot of things with climate, the survive. Will the US democracy survive? Another shuffle. Does democracy survive and thrive in the future? I get a very clear image of the Statue of Liberty. Um, so I think so, but let's see what the cards say. I think there'll be some tough years for sure. So right now we feel lost, right? The Four of Cups. We have bombshells and revelations is the challenge. Can we handle this chaotic time? We Queen of Cups, which is steady leadership underneath. We get the strength, but it's in the past. So we feel like our strength is in the past, but the energies that are in the past generally are energies you can still pull on. So right now we have a spy in the camp, and this is, completely accurate. We have a threat to democracy currently. In the near-term future, we have the Wheel of Fortune. It's a question of whether the fortunes are going to turn in favor of democracy or against democracy. Uh, there's a lot to be revealed with the Moon card. And then we get the Queen of Swords, just steady leadership, the truth, ingenuity. The Tower's in the hopes and fears. We're hoping something shocking happens. I think there's actually a hope. And that, half the country that voted for him pulls it together and realizes this isn't a good thing. And then the outcome is new partnerships. So I think coming together is the way to interpret that. We got ill health. Democracy is definitely in a fragile state. We're fighting the Five of Wands, but we have protection with the Star card. Ultimately, there's a guardian out there looking for us. And then we're going to get a message that's going to bring us back on track. We have the lovers underneath, the Page of Wands, and the King of Swords. And ultimately, we get justice, and we get temperance, and we get rebuilding with the Eight of Pentacles, and we get the card for the Democrats. So, and the Ten of Wands, which is like the end of burdens. So I think so. I think US democracy will survive. I think it's going to go through some very rough patches over the next 4 to 12 years. So we'll just have to kind of see how that plays out. All right. Please like, share, subscribe. Thanks for watching. I'll be back with another video soon.